Hi guys, my name is Isabella Contreras and I just want to welcome you back to my channel. So today we are doing something a little bit different. Today we're doing a story time. And basically what I'm going to be talking about today is how I was diagnosed with endometriosis. And that's something that when I tell people what it is, they didn't know anything about it. So basically, about a year and a half ago, I was diagnosed with that and I had surgery in order for me to reduce the pain that I was having, because it was just excruciating. It was really bad. It all started about 2 years ago, and from what I can remember is I am literally at work sitting on the chair. I get up and I get this excruciating pain on my right side, and I had no idea what it was. I thought maybe it was a muscle spasm or something. I'm not sure. But that as the day went on, the pain was just there. It kind of went away. I took some, ibuprofen and it kind of went away. So I didn't think nothing of it at the moment. Then the next day, I went back to work and the pain came back, and it was really, really bad. To the point where I had to come to Mom and I was like, Mom, I don't feel good. Like, I don't know what's going on. I thought this was just something, and the moment from yesterday went away, but now I have it back again. And of course my mom was all worried, and she was like, okay, well, I'm gonna go get you and I'm gonna take you to the hospital. So I had to be rushed to the hospital because of this excruciating pain that I was having on my right side. I got to the hospital. I gave them my symptoms and pains and everything. They did a CT scan and they did not find anything wrong with me. Everything was perfectly fine, because the first thing that comes to my mom's mind is like my appendix or something, bursting or something. And no, thankfully it wasn't it. It wasn't anything, nothing. They couldn't think of anything. Maybe a UTI, but not even that. All my lab results came back positive. So they sent me back home with pain medication, and that was that. A couple weeks later, I get the same pain again, and again, excruciating pain. I can't get rid of it, not even with pain medicine. So I have no idea what's going on. There I go again, calling my mom, because when I'm that desperate, I have to call her so she can help me with some remedies, like tell me what to do, because this pain is not going away and it's the second time I'm getting it. So once again, I'm rushed to the same hospital with the same symptoms. They do another CT scan without something. Like, they did a different type of CT scan. And again, they didn't see anything. They thought that I was just like constipated, which I wasn't. I was perfectly fine. So they didn't find anything wrong with me. And I was just so desperate to find out what was causing this pain, like inside of me, to feel like a needle was stabbing me on my right side. It was like really bad. So then basically they sent me home again. Nothing that they can do for me. So at that point, I'm just like, I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't know what to do. A couple weeks later, again, third hospital visit. This time I go to a different one. The first two I went to Methodist, and then the third one I go to Presbyterian. Maybe I just need to see a different hospital, different doctor, see if I can get a second opinion, because the first two obviously didn't work out. Once again, I go there, I see the doctor in the emergency room, and there's nothing wrong with me. They do refer me out to a urologist and a gastrologist, based on like my family history. We on my dad's side, we run cancer like in the colon, in the stomach, and the kidney. I think those are the three main ones. So they were like, okay, let's have you go get tested on their end to see if maybe something in that aspect is not functioning well, and maybe that's what's causing the pain. So then I set up an appointment with the urologist, and she talks to me, and I mean, my bladder's fine, my kidneys are fine, everything is perfectly fine. And so at that point, she refers me out to the gastrologist. And basically, I have to get a colonoscopy done at 23. I was 23, and I had to get it done just because they were concerned based on the amount of family members that had passed away due to colon cancer. So they just wanted to make sure that that was okay. I got that procedure done. Everything was fine. So I was just really confused. I didn't know what to do with myself at that point. I had seen several doctors, hospital visits. I was perfectly fine. to the point that I was like self-diagnosing myself, because it radiated down to my entire leg. So I thought I had maybe something wrong with my spine. I don't know what was wrong with me. So I also got sent to get an MRI done. So I got that done. Nothing. I am so healthy as I can be. So being told by every single physician that I am perfectly healthy was driving me crazy. Like, I was to the point where I was like, is my mental, am I okay? Am I just thinking of this pain and maybe I just don't have this pain? Like, I'm perfectly healthy, nothing's wrong with me. If you know what to do. So then my very last resort was my gynecologist, and I told her everything that was going on, my symptoms, my scans, everything that had happened. And obviously I have my own set of family history on my mom's side of the family, which are miscarriages, ovarian cysts, which ding, I had an ovarian cyst when I was 18. I had a 4.5 centimeter cyst on my ovary, so it needed to be 5 centimeters for them to surgically remove it. So since it was 4.5, it just had to pretty much pop on its own. And those ovarian cysts can be made of water or blood, so it just had to burst with time. And that happened to me when I was 18. Like, I woke up with pain, I was rushed to the hospital. When they did this CT scan, that's what they found. But that was like years ago. That was when I was 18. And then once again when I was 23, they didn't even find that in me. So I know it wasn't any cyst, because they would have seen that in the CT scans, and I didn't. So I mean, she had my you know, my history with her, and along with like other symptoms that I told her. Her first initial thing was saying, okay, you may have endometriosis, but the only way for me to find out for sure is if I do a lap, meaning she'll go in through my belly button and see inside my uterus and see if I have anything. And basically what endometriosis is when you have your cycle, your blood is not flowing out the way it should. So it goes in the outside of your uterus walls and it gets stuck. So they get stuck kind of like lesions, which causes pain because your blood is not flowing the way it needs to whenever you're on your cycle. And so basically she went in there and she found several of them like on my wall. So she had to burn me. And then on top of that, apparently my ovary was twisted and stuck against my right side, which was the craziest thing. Like, how does your ovary get twisted and then get stuck on your pelvic side? I have no idea. Like, I really don't have any idea how that happened. And so that's why I had that excruciating pain for about 6 months before I went to her. And she was able to put it back in its place. She burned me inside. I believe I only had like stage 1, but oh my God, it felt like stage 4, because it's 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4 being the worst, where you're super covered, like your uterus is really covered. Mine wasn't that covered. And I cried myself to sleep every single night because of the pain was so bad, and nobody can find anything that was wrong with me. Like, that's the last thing that was on my mind for me to get diagnosed with that. And so when I would tell people, they're like, oh, what is that? What is that? Like, no one knows about this, and this is like something real and something so important that we go through as women, and it's not well known to people what the diagnosis is and what the symptoms are. And it was unbearable. Like, my mom couldn't even help me. My mom felt helpless to see her daughter in pain, and for me to get diagnosed with that, it was not a good feeling. Thankfully, after my surgery, I have felt a lot better. So I've been so much better with the pain. I was placed on birth control to help me reduce the pain, for me not to get my cycle, because that was part of my symptoms, that they were really bad, really heavy, to the point where I would get nauseous and really sick, like really sick. And I never thought anything of it. Of course, you're a girl and you have your cycle normally, but apparently that was one of the main symptoms that I had, and I didn't pay attention to it. So now I'm not even allowed to have one. I'm on that birth control for me not to have it, and I think it's helped me a lot because I'm back to my normal self now. Like, the only bad thing about having endometriosis is it can always come back at any time, even though I've had my surgery, and it also it makes it harder for me to get pregnant, pretty much. So whenever I'm ready to have family, I pretty much have to probably go talk to a specialist about that, because since I had that for so long without getting diagnosed, it probably affected me not in a good way. So I guess we'll see what happens for us in the future for me and my husband. He is aware of everything. He's been there with me, and it was the hardest. I think it was the hardest thing to go to doctor, physician, and then to the point where when I was diagnosed with endometriosis, they wanted to actually put me on something else where I would go into menopause pretty much to help me reduce the pain. And I was like, I'm not going to go into menopause at 23. I heard really bad things about like that medicine, because I did join a group on Facebook with women who have endometriosis, and they did not recommend that. So I outed that, and I was like, I need the surgery. I said, I need the surgery. That's what I want to go. That's the route I want to go. And I'm so thankful that I did choose that, because ever since I've been so great. So yeah, that's pretty much my story on how I got diagnosed with endometriosis, and I just wanted to talk about it. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe to my channel. Thank you.